Hi, my name is Josh Gottry. Welcome to today's weekly lesson. Today we're going to be talking about the samba. The samba is a Brazilian rhythm, and it is really defined by a particular pattern called the partido alto. Partido alto is 2 on beats, 3 off beats, and 2 on beats. 1, 2, and 3, 4. So 2 quarter notes, 3 offbeat eighth notes, and then again 2 quarter notes at the end of what essentially is a 2-measure pattern. 1, 2, and 3, 4. If I play that just on the ride cymbal and snare drum, you get just a little bit of a sample or taste of what the key rhythm or key pattern in the samba is. Okay. Now, obviously that's really thin, not a lot going on, so we need to play a little bit more than that to perform our samba. So we'll add a couple layers to that. First thing we're going to do is we're going to add the heartbeat bass drum, also used in the bossa nova. And so it's just 1, and of 2, 3, and of 4, repeated over and over again. And you'll notice I'm putting a little bit more weight on the downbeats, the 1 and the 3, than on the and, just so we've got that anchor there on those beats. Again, add a little bit more texture. We're going to go ahead and use the left foot to play 2 and 4 with the hi-hat to complement that heartbeat pattern. So we got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, now for a really simple samba, we could go ahead and take that and just layer over top the hands in unison on the snare drum and the ride cymbal with that partido alto. Partido alto. Something like this. Here's the feet. We're going to add the hands with the partido alto. One thing that's really important as you're playing that, obviously there's a lot of notes that are back and forth between the different limbs, and then some notes that line up. It's important that you line up the notes that are supposed to be played vertically at the same time, but also really important to keep that 8th note subdivision 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and to make sure that all the notes that aren't played together are still along that nice continuous spectrum of 8th notes to make sure everything lines up. Now that's a pretty thin texture. It works, it's nice, gives you a nice little groove, very clear partido alto. But if we wanted something a little busier, a little bit more active, the other thing we could do is go ahead and take the right hand and mimic the pattern that's going on in the feet with the ride cymbal, and then continue to play the partido alto in the snare drum. So a little bit more coordination between the 2 upper limbs, but certainly something that can easily be done with a little bit of practice. So we'll take the right hand and mimic the feet. And then add the partido alto with the left hand. If you want a little variety, you can go ahead and switch that snare drum up to a cross stick. If it's slow enough, most of the sambas are pretty fast, but it's slow enough, you can go ahead and do continuous 8th notes on the ride cymbal. Or you can do a lot of other varieties just to change the texture ever so slightly. Maybe you're going to go ahead and play the right hand on the hi-hat. Give it a little bit of open hi-hat, closed hi-hat. Something like that. You can also mix things up with the snare drum. Short, long. You can go ahead and do a buzz stroke. Short, long, short, short, long, short, 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 long, short, short, long, short, short. Just a couple other little varieties, variations that can help mix up this rhythm. Whenever you learn a pattern, it's really important to have a couple variations because you certainly want to be able to complement one soloist different than another soloist, say in a jazz band, or the big open verse or the A section you want to play one way, and the B section or chorus or bridge you want to be able to play it a different way. So having a couple different samba variations in your fingertips is a great way to approach it. As you're learning this, whenever you have something that has this much coordination, certainly multiple, one limb at a time or two limbs at a time, or adding a third, or just working the first half of the measure, or adding the partito alto one note at a time. For example, if you're going to do that second variation with the ride cymbal and the feet in unison, start with that, and then add your partito alto notes one note at a time. 1, 1, 2, and that's all on the next one. And 1, 2, and that's all it adds the next one. And so on and so forth. So go through the process just one note at a time. Go nice and slow. I tell some of my students, work this painfully slowly, just to make sure that you've got time to really think about each motion and how the limbs coordinate, and when they play together and when they don't. And the more you do it right, the easier it is to get it up to tempo over time. So there's the samba. Hope that helps. Have a great week.